Testing 1 2. Alrighty. I hope this testing works. 1 2. Alrighty. I hope this testing works. 1 2. Alrighty. I hope this testing 1 2. Alrighty. I hope this testing 1 2. Alrighty. I hope this. Alright, looks like everything is in order. Strategy plug and play is a go. Once again, everybody, strategy plug and play is a go. So how is everybody doing? I hope everybody is doing well. I hope this is still running well. I've honestly no idea. But I'm going to pretend it is. So, today's agenda. Because my Sauron eye has been activated once more, there is, in fact, some interesting videos that I want to watch with all of you guys. That being Professor Fiction, I hope I'm getting his name right, Professor Fiction. Yes. He's got a PhD. Cool. Audio's good. Alright, thank you, fam. That being Professor Fiction. I'm getting his name right. So, today's topic we're going to be going over that has gotten my Sauron eye awakened once again. Saitama, or what if Aizen fought Saitama? A 14-minute video, a little longer than I thought it was, but we gon' get it.
Grammarly helps me get
Pardon me, that was a cough.
Get the best grades possible while depleting the least amount of hours of my week. I'm Lauren Taylor. I'm a student.
A common trend in One Punch Man is when the villain bodies all the heroes, starts monologuing about how invincible and powerful they are and how they will defeat Saitama before getting one-punched. So, how would the god of yapping,
have some others in chat. I didn't even realize. Oh, snap.
The man who was unrivaled in this entire Soul Society, Ft.Aizen, stand up against the One Punch Man? Would he start one of his generic monologues about how powerful he is, then get one-tapped? Or will Saitama lose to one of these Shonen Jump heavy hitters? The first question we need to ask is whether Saitama would even be able to see Aizen. As Bleach fans will tell you, Soul Reapers like Aizen are invisible to those who don't have strong spirit.
Alrighty, let me read over this right quick. Unearthly beings living in a world ruled by a different logic than the world of the living, they possess high spiritual powers and a body composed of reishi. They are invisible to those without spiritual powers. Which is true, technically, kind of, sort of. To be honest, that's a whole topic we could honestly get into and make a video in of itself. But I kind of want to get into the scaling, because I'm sure we all know who Saitama is.
It's also shown much later in the series that Aizen can erase people when they get too close to him and touch his overwhelming spiritual pressure when he has way more spiritual pressure than they do. Let alone no spiritual pressure like Saitama. So would Saitama just get erased from being in the same room as Aizen? Would he not even realize Aizen is there and just go to the store? Unfortunately for Bleach fans, it's not quite that cut and dry. For starters, Saitama actually can perceive and interact with spiritual beings. During Child Emperor's battle with Phoenix Man, the monster creates a spiritual space called the Phoenix Space that connects the two mentally. This space, which exists only in Phoenix Man and Child Emperor's mind, proceeds to get busted into by Saitama, and Phoenix Man actually leaves because he's so threatened by Saitama, despite being a spirit. During his battle with Dangai Ichigo, Aizen believes that Ichigo traded his spirit energy for raw physical strength in an attempt to beat him. But it won't work because he is stronger. Aizen never says that Ichigo can't win without spirit energy, but rather that he's just not strong enough. If Aizen, one of the top intellects of the Soul Society, thinks that raw physical strength could overwhelm spirit energy if they're strong enough, I think it's fair to say that it's true.
Honestly, I guess that's a fair take. I really don't mind having Saitama being able to see Aizen, because otherwise that really doesn't make the fight interesting when it gets down to it. So, I mean, but also, yeah, the Phoenix Man space is also a good feat. Although I personally would like to see something more. Testing 1 2. Testing. I was told my audio was acting up a little bit, so I'm just doing another little audio check. So, I think that the audio might have cleared up now if I pause it and then talk, so sorry about that. I'll try to remember to do that from going forward. Alright, but anyways, as I was trying to say, I don't think it's unfair to let Aizen or Saitama be able to see Aizen, because otherwise that's really not going to make the fight interesting. But I mean, honestly, we could get into some kind of cheesy arguments. We could get into some cheesy arguments about Saitama, right? And how he has no, like, I guess, soul hacks resistance, if you want. So we could be like, Aizen just haxes him and he doesn't really even need to be seen. But again, that wouldn't be fair. Also, I think Aizen kind of likes to show off. He wants to be seen. But let's continue, eh?
Alongside the fact that Saitama actually straight up punches through spiritual dimensions, he should be able to see Aizen and be able to fight him if he's strong enough. And also, the video is Saitama versus Aizen. Let's be real. You want to see Saitama fight Aizen? So let's talk about that. With all that in mind, we can now start discussing who's actually more powerful between these two.
Yeah, see, he basically saying the same thing I was, It's a fight between Saitama and Aizen. It doesn't make sense if they're not able to see each other. That's the whole point of the video, right? They're fighting.
By the way, if you guys like this video, you should subscribe and check out my other videos. This video is actually part of a series called Could They Beat Saitama, where I put Saitama against some of the strongest characters in fiction. So go check out Saitama vs. Omni-Man, or stay tuned for more of these videos if you guys like them. As always, thank you for watching, and let's get into it. Regarding raw power, Saitama has been a controversial character in recent years. At the climax of the Monster Association arc, Saitama fights Garo, the hero hunter who took a piece of God's power, giving him the power to shake the entire universe just by appearing. Garo would copy Saitama's full power, and the two would clash serious punches and leave a massive dark hole in the sky, destroying countless stars. In later chapters, we see galaxies in the background of Saitama and Garo's fight, meaning, visually speaking, we should be able to perceive galaxies from Earth, but there is no light left in the sky where Saitama and Garo punched. The two then continue, but there is no light.
One moment. I kind of lost track of what we were talking
giving him
about.
The power to shake the
I kind of lost track of what we were talking about for a second. We started getting into galaxy level. and going into God. And I was like, okay, hang on. He kind of went a little fast for me there. 1 second.
The entire universe just by appearing. Garo would copy Saitama's full power, and the two would clash serious punches and leave a massive dark hole in the sky, destroying countless stars. In later chapters, we see galaxies in the background of Saitama and Garo's fight, meaning, visually speaking, we should be able to perceive galaxies from Earth, but there is no light left in the sky where Saitama and Garo punched. The two then continue their battle, with them both growing astronomical.
I don't know. That's a really strange take to me. 'Cause I get where he's coming from. I get it, trust me, but I don't it's kind of odd to me because it's like, yeah, they have the galaxies in the background visually, but like Murata kind of strikes me as the artist where if he wanted to showcase a galaxy going boom, he'd showcase a galaxy going boom, right? And so I'm like, okay, the argument you're kind of like trying to say, if you squint at it, you might be able to say that the energy of the Sirius punch squared shot out and hit one of those distant galaxies and made it go boom. And then, what we see is just this giant void where all the stars are gone, right? Or some people like to say that it shot all the way to the end of the universe. I'm like, okay, I get it. We're trying to be generous as possible, but I like to be conservative, okay, if that's a thing, Don't mean to get political, but if we could divide it, but I'm more right wing when it comes to my scaling takes. I like to be conservative with it, where if I don't see the galaxy go boom, I don't say it's galaxy level. And if you got to try to spin it to me in a way where I could be like, can I really squint my eyes at this and go, okay, I accept it? And I guess I kind of accept it, but only a little.
Economically, and Saitama far surpassing the previous Sirius punch feat. It gets so bad that despite the fact that Garo is much stronger than Saitama was at the start of the fight, Saitama merely sneezing can overwhelm Garo by the end of the battle. This means that Saitama's literal sneeze might pack more of a punch than Sirius punch squared, although you could question this seeing as the sneeze didn't even destroy the iron core of Jupiter. That whole point aside, Saitama and Garo did outright destroy countless stars or countless galaxies with a shockwave, and they were also hit by the fully concentrated recoil of that blast and were unscathed. This means Saitama should bare minimum reach multi-solar system to multi-galaxy levels of power during this fight. This level of power is consistent with blast fearing for what Garo would do.
I think that's a fair statement. He lays all the evidence, he lays it all out, clear as day. I really don't see any way of arguing with it. And again, if we're trying to take the highball, give Saitama the absolute benefit of a doubt, I would say galaxy level is fair. So let's continue.
If he could run free in this dimension, and wanted to pull him to another dimension for their conversation. And of course, Garo is stated to have the power to shake the entire universe, a multi-solar system level feat. During the Heavenly Ninja Party arc, we are introduced to Empty Void, the leader of the ninja village with the ability to
I don't quite know where exactly it was stated. Is it coming from like a Twitter post? That's what it looks like. That's kind of funny. We have a shaking the universe statement, and it's kind of like Goku in the movies also does that, and it also gets calculated out to multi-solar system level. And I'm like, man, it's gotta suck for like such a cool statement or such a cool feat in it for not to amount to a whole lot. Like, that's rough, buddy.
Arc, we are introduced to Empty Void, the leader of the ninja village with the ability to jump into the higher dimensions and cut through reality itself. By the end of the arc, Saitama is able to catch this dimension-cutting blade with his bare hands and yank Empty Void out of the higher dimension. This obviously has insane scaling implications.
Ah, come on!
But this actually got retconned as the ninja arc got redrawn, with Empty Void never getting these higher dimensional feats or statements. Therefore, Saitama's best feats at this point are still confined to destroying multiple galaxies at absolute best. Moving on to Aizen, there's
that's also gotta suck too. I'm also sorry, Saitama fans. Like, I was honestly invested in the Heavily Ninja arc because he was cooking with Empty Void. I was with y'all. I was like, oh no, Saitama's actually about to become OD. Saitama's actually about to do something great. And don't get me wrong, catching a space cutting blade it's really good, especially with all that nonsense he was talking about, looking outside of reality on all the bubbles and whatnot. I'm like, what? He's like, this is like on some Giratina reverse world type stuff. And I was with it, but no, it's just retcons as usual, business as usual.
Quite a bit to talk about for the former captain of Squad 5. For this video, we will be using Aizen from the 1,000-Year Blood War, meaning this is after his battle with Ichigo, where the Hogyoku massively amped him. During the battle with Kisuke and Isshin, the two note they can't even sense Aizen's power anymore, despite the fact they were relative to Aizen in his base form. This is because Aizen became transcendent, which is represented in Bleach by characters no longer being able to sense one another. If you are massively above your opponent, they can no longer feel your spirit energy. This is insane, seeing as people like Shunsui and even his lieutenant Nanao are able to sense Yamamoto's power, yet Aizen in his base form dwarfed almost every other captain other than Yamamoto and possibly Unohana. This means the gap between Aizen and every other captain is bigger than Yamamoto versus Nanao, who didn't even have a Zanpakuto at that point. The likes of Ganju were also able to sense the release of Senjimaru's Bankai, something so powerful it shakes the three realms with just a flicker of their power. The three realms being the Living World, Soul Society, and Huecamundo. This has been a debate about the size of the three realms, with many people equating the Soul Society to just a planet or something, but that is not the case. The Soul Society is drawn as having massive night skies full of stars in the background at times, and naturally would need to be massive to encompass all the souls who pass on from the Living World, as the two are called parallel worlds. The Living World is clearly based on the real-world universe, and saying it's not would be incredibly weird. And it would be the same as saying the One Punch Man universe isn't as big as the actual universe, and Saitama and
Although I guess we gotta be fair, right? If we're gonna take the shaking the universe statement for Garo, or even for like Goku, and then for Bleach, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to only say that it's like a solar system level feat, you know? Because then, like I said, we got to be fair and got to apply it to both aisles, right? And so I guess this is probably my contention that I'm just picking up on, where if we're saying Garo is only solar system for shaking the universe, then Senjimaru would only be solar system for shaking the universe, and I personally don't subscribe to downplaying Senjimaru like that. So my way of headcanoning this is like, okay, here's the difference, right? Garo, not only was he only stated to shake a universe, but it's only one universe, right? It's just one space-time. Whoop-de-doo. But for Senjimaru, though, she's not just shaking one universe. She's not just shaking two universes. She's shaking 3 universes. 3 for the price of 1. And not only is she shaking 3 of them, she's also shaking the Dangai. A place with its own disconnected space-time from the world of the living and Soul Society. And not only that, but her power has to go all the way, maybe not all the way through the Garganta, but it still has to travel through the Garganta and reach Hueco Now that, Tap's head, that's far more impressive than just shaking one universe. And not only that, but we even have Yamamoto. As he mentioned, Yamamoto is pretty OD because he was stated to be able to destroy Soul Society. Soul Society is a universe. I'm just saying. Senjumaru is stronger than Yamamoto. Senjumaru over Yamamoto. And it just keeps going up from there. Aizen over Senjumaru. It just keeps going up.